Hello YouTube and welcome to this video, and today I am running through my top 10 favourite Formula 1 circuits from past and present. So basically what I've done is I've found 10 different race circuits, and it's one track per country, so you'll only see one British track, one Australian, you'll only see one of the country if they have more than one that has been raced on in Formula One. That's pretty much the only rule. It's ranked in my order and my personal favourite order alone. So, and as the title says, it's past and present. So, ones that have been used but not used now, or ones that are still in use. So, without further ado, let's go straight into the video. Number 10 is Istanbul Park in Turkey, and I think the first race was in 2006 and the last race was, I believe, in 2011. The main part of the circuit that I really enjoyed watching cars go around was the turn 8 and 9 sequence, which is, as you can see on the map, it's by the top right. So I mean, that was a very enjoyable sequence to watch cars go through. But of course they don't use it now. As I said, I think it was from 2006 to 2011. But anyways, let's go on to the next track, which is the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And on the map again, they raced on the red route. But on the Formula One circuit, they raced the complete banking. They didn't race half the banking, but I couldn't find a map with that. I like this because you go straight, obviously, from the banking onto a high-speed straight, and then the short technical road course bit. Albeit this track is probably more remembered for the 2005 US Grand Prix. For those of you who don't know, all of the Michelin cars didn't run, therefore only 6 cars ran, which was the pairing of the Ferraris, the Jordan pair and the Minardi pair, because they were on Bridgestone tyres. It's better if you just try and find a video on it. I mean, you're going to find a video on it eventually, but I like this because of the high speed straight, and you go straight from the banking into the high speed straight, so you could really set a great lap time. And I believe it was from 2001 until 2006 or 7. Anyways, number 8 is the Baku City Street Circuit in Azerbaijan. Its inaugural race was in 2016 and it's still in use today. There's quite a few parts on this track that I quite enjoy. I enjoy the front straight, which is the very long one coming off of turn 20, where you can really get some great speed. The next part I like is at around turn 5 till turn 12. I enjoy that sequence of corners because you got two swift right-handers, 90-degree turns, a left and a right, and then another right, and then another short straight, and then you go through an uphill chicane, and I really enjoy the uphill chicane part of it. But turn 13 to 16, that's not a bad sequence. It's a high-speed sequence, but I don't really enjoy it as much compared to the uphill chicanery, but that's my 8th favourite circuit. Number 7 is Magny-Cours in France, and they used this, I believe, in the early 2000s or late 1990s through till 2008, I think. Now this track I really enjoyed, mainly because after the first 3 turns, which was obviously the third turn is that big the round one. You go to a fast section into a hairpin, and I just think it's a really good flowing circuit. I mean, it's a shame they don't race on it now, but I quite enjoyed this circuit when it was about on the Formula One calendar. The next track is Suzuka. No, there's not an off-road section. Before anyone says, that's just Marcus Ericsson in the gravel. The only figure of 8 style Formula One circuit that's on the calendar still, and I think it's the only one that ever has been on the calendar. I enjoy the S's, the very first bit after you go around turn 1 and 2. You got the sequence, and then you got Denga 1 as well, which I quite like. I quite like the hairpin and 130R. We all know 130R. Alonso versus Schumacher. That you'd probably be able to find a video of that as well. So I highly recommend you watch that. But I quite enjoy this in the fact that it's different, that it is the only figure of 8 type circuit on the Formula One calendar, and that's what really makes it stand out above the rest. That's what makes Suzuka stand out above the rest of the circuits. My fifth favourite, now I was debating a lot whether to put Adelaide or Albert Park. Albert Park being the current one, Adelaide being the former Australian GP track. I decided to go with Adelaide, mainly because even though it was meant to be a street circuit, it was still quite an enjoyable street circuit to watch F1. I mean, of course you got this 90-degree turns, but then it's all balanced out by these other type of turns, like this tight turn or the fast corners around it, and then the hairpin to go in to the pits and then come onto the main straight. I mean, it was quite an enjoyable street circuit to watch cars on. I mean, of course, now they're racing the V8 supercars, but it was quite fun to watch Formula One cars on it. Its last day of year of use was in 1995 or 6. I mean, I know they moved to Albert Park in 1997, so it was either 95 or 96, but that's my fifth favourite circuit. My fourth favourite is the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, which is in Canada. Again, I like this circuit because of the 2 very high-speed straights and the hairpin corner, which is at the very opposite end of the track. But I think this track is more infamous for the dubbed Wall of Champions, which is the final chicane on the circuit, which is where many champions have crashed. I mean, in the 1999 Grand Prix, I think 3 world champions and Ricardo Zonta crashed on the same part. I think it was Damon Hill, Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, I think, and Ricardo Zonta in 1999, I think. I know 1999 was the year of the Wall of Champions, where so many cars crashed out. I can't remember if it was those 4 or not, but that last section of the track is my personal favourite part, and that's why it ranks quite high. I enjoyed the turn 1, turn 2 pit exit part as well. So, I mean, that's why it ranks quite highly. Number 3 is Monte Carlo in Monaco, which is still in use to this day. The reason why I enjoy this is because it makes for very unpredictable races. I mean, 2014 was a good example where Jules Bianchi managed to get his Marussia car all the way up into 8th, but he then finished 9th because of a penalty, I believe it was. But an even finer example was the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix, where only 3 cars finished, and Olivier Panis was the victor, as you can see here in his Ligier Honda. I think they were Honda in that one, but I enjoy the Mirabel and the tunnel. Saint-Devote is quite dramatic for a very dramatic opening lap. And I also enjoy the chicane as well. The chicane in Sector 3, that is, by the way. Not the chicanes that come out of the tunnel, but... moving on to number 2, which is Spa in Belgium. And, well, I can't really think of a reason why nobody would not like Spa. La Source, Eau Rouge, Radion. I mean, those are just 3 really good corners. And the back straight as well. I mean, this picture was on the opening lap, and you've got 4 cars 4 wide. The only bad thing about Spa is post 2006, where they've removed the old bus stop chicane and we've got that new one now. But I mean, I think many more people preferred the old bus stop chicane. I mean, another memorable race at the circuit was in 1998, where David Coulthard ran up on the exit curve around La Source, and then there was like, I think it was a 13 car pile up, and Damon Hill emerged the victor after all of that. In fact, both Jordans came first and second in that race, actually. But again, it's the biggest Formula 1 circuit that's on the calendar. And even for the biggest circuit, it can be quite unpredictable, especially at La Source and Eau Rouge. I don't know why I was saying Eau Rouge there. Eau Rouge. But yeah. And my number 1 favourite is Silverstone, obviously in Great Britain. Now there are many reasons why I like Silverstone. You've got Abbey, you've got the Loop, Brooklands, Luffield, Maggots and Beckett's, the Hangar Straight, Stowe. I mean, these are just some iconic corners, really. But they're most of the reason why I like the Silverstone circuit. Of course, they did change the layout slightly. I mean, we now go into Abbey rather than following this grey route along the bottom straight into Luffield. Another one they've changed is from 2011 to current day. They start at the exit of Club, where from 2010 backwards you would go on the straight here, just coming out of Woodcote. So, I mean, I can't really see that very well. I mean, the picture's quite small, but again, weather could play a part. I mean, it's Britain. British summertime is most of the time rain, I can tell you that. But and they do race it around in the summer, so British summertime can cause a lot of mayhem. But the reason why it ranks at number 1 is, of course, not because I'm British. I mean, I'm not being biased at all or anything. But I generally do like the Silverstone circuit, mainly because of those iconic corners. And just the flowing from corner to corner to straight to corner all the straights and the corners just flow magnificently with each other. And so that's why I like the Silverstone circuit, and that's why I'd rank the Silverstone circuit at number 1. And I don't know about many other people where they would rank it. I mean, of course they'd rank it quite high, but I don't know how many others would rank it as number 1. I know that I would, which is what I have done. But coming to the end of the video now, like, comment and subscribe. I mean, if you enjoyed this list, then leave a like, comment a list idea, and I'll see what I can do. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future content on my channel. Stay tuned, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video. And open the door and heed, I forgot to put that on there, open the door and heed the call by subscribing and clicking on the bell notification as well. So this has been Ryan Bowles with another list video, and I will see you in the next video.